Flory Models Daily Vlog. Here we are on November the 11th, 2015. Obviously Armistice Day, remembering obviously all the war fallen from all the conflicts, all eras on all sides, at least we forget. Today, to be honest, I've been editing like a real good and catching up with all the editing and all the bits and pieces. The last final part, as in, well, that would be the last, is up for the actual Starfighter now, which isn't sparkling. It's really weird. When we was at Telford, I'm showing people this and people looking at it going, it's very pixelated, isn't it? And it's like, is it? It's not here, and it's not in daylight, and it's not in any other light, but the lighting system at Telford made it sparkle. But here it's solid colour. Bit weird, that one. But generally this one is now finished. As I said, it was a massive undertaking purely for a metallizer point of view. So we've gone completely over the top on that. And because we've gone completely over the top of that, we've also put together a video for non-members to watch about spraying AK Interactive's extreme metal paints. Now the thing is with it, it's quite long-winded. It's over an hour. It's free to watch in one lump, okay, and everything else. Literally, it's just taken 3.5 hours to render on the computer. So once that is up there, which will be up with you tomorrow, non-members, you can see painting and weathering and exactly how the extreme metals work actually on a real model. So instead of just doing it on a bit of plastic art or a bit of plain like we did and testing things like that, we can go through. Now obviously this is going to supersede the review we did on this, so it's an on test. This is the new on test. What I'm going to do is delete the old one because technically it doesn't count anymore, because the problems we've had with that have now been fixed by actually AK themselves, and they've brought to us what I maintain is one of the finest products, definitely this year, but probably for many years, on using metallizer paints. As we explained through this one, short recap is it's brilliant, it's lovely, it's gorgeous. It's a bit fragile to handle on the downside, but on the positive side, doesn't really care how you put it down, how you actually use it. That's very user friendly, unlike other ones where you have to have, you know, mirror finishes and perfect air pressure and perfect flow and a nice steady hand and all of this. This one really doesn't care. You just put it down and away you go. And obviously with weathering and things like that, it gets a weathering wash. We'll show you how to do that. We show you a little bit on decaling as well to show you how good this is with decals, and you don't get any carrier film marks and anything else like that. So it's well worth a watch if you are a non-member. If you're a member, you can see the full thing, obviously, because technically that 1 hour episode has been made up of 4.5 other episodes. So instead of it being 2.5 hours, it's sort of a concentrated version down to just give you sort of really just over an hour on that one. So as I said, lots to see on that one. It's going to be up on the site tomorrow. Obviously it'll be up tomorrow night, I'll mention it as well. But members, you can go off now and see the last part of this one, which is really just putting it all together, coming together at the end, bringing it all in, weathering up the final stages, a couple of little touch-ups, and then obviously adding all the bits and pieces, the seats, all those things like that, ready for the final reveal at the end. As I said, it was a monster project for something so small. It's a 9-parter. Normally you think the Typhoon behind us, that was a 9-parter, and that was a monster one. So really just shows the depths we've gone into to show you about doing new metal finishes on aircraft and everything else like that. At the same time, just to make this really good, we've also had a change round because we had a couple of the videos which have been hanging around a little bit longer than they should have been on the free to watch on our YouTube channel. Okay, so actually part 9, which is the last part, you can just about see it behind me over my shoulder, of the actual FGR4 Eurofighter Typhoon. This is the LED lit one with all the lights and all the bits and pieces. That one is up to watch as well, which is the final part, which is really just bringing it all together, getting it mounted onto its base on its stand, and obviously the final reveal at the end of my thoughts about the kit. And there you go. So lots of you to watch at the moment. One question that came up, which I really wanted to cover yesterday, but I missed it, was from Carl. Now Carl asked me, what was the most thing that impressed me the most at Telford, and what disappointed me the most at Telford? Now, you didn't say exactly what area, so I don't know if you're thinking competitions or whatever. So, but from my overall thing of the entire show, the thing that most impressed me most was the Revel 172nd Shackleton. Now, this is the AEW2 version. It's, to be honest, the version you'd want to do compared to the Airfix one, and this thing looks gorgeous, absolute stunning, and to be honest, it's why I'm holding off. That's why I haven't run out and done the other Shackleton, the Airfix Shackleton, because this one is my preferred choice, and I think it's a better kit. From a point of view of overall, it's cheaper than the Airfix one as well. So that one's due out first quarter next year, so I'm holding off for that one. As you can see it here, it looks absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant looking aircraft, and it's just in the right markings, it's the right variant, everything ticks my box for me. Okay, the most disappointed Okay, I suppose between two companies there. I suppose when I saw the Airfix were doing the Victor, immediately we thought, oh, thank God. And actually, Revell have still got the old Matchbox one in their display cabinet at the show. And we were saying, actually, we sort of walked from the Revell stand right round, me and the guys, down to the actual Airfix one and had a look at all their stuff. And I have to say, I was extremely disappointed. Now, I know it's a very early test shot of the kit. And I don't know if it was like, I don't know, Stevie Wonder put it together, but it wasn't put together very well either. Huge great seams, joins and everything else. It could have just been a rush job, and obviously there is no instructions at this point and all the rest of it, but it wasn't doing the kit any favours, shall we say. But just looking at it, when I saw the CAD work, it looked stunning and I got really excited and thought this was brilliant. When I saw it in the flesh, I must admit, I don't know. I know it's an early one, perhaps it's going to improve and it'll be better, but just looking at the mock-up, the test shot of it there, you can see in this photo, I just wasn't excited. It was sort of, I don't know, sort of bit of a disappointment apart from that. If you're talking about the actual, the show overall, absolutely fantastic. I can't fault it. We love being there. Everybody is so friendly and everything else. Car parking is probably the only issue, which I know I'm not the only one, but even as traders, we had trouble parking on Saturday. And I know obviously a lot of you had trouble with parking as well. So obviously you have to park in the multi-stories all around it and walk in. That would be my only advice if you're going to do it, because you just save yourself a load of heartache. So yes, that's the my ups and downs from it. If you're talking about the judging and the actual competition side of it, that has gone massive. There's been a big thing about that. I have extremely strong views about it, and they're that strong I'm not going to actually say anything. I'm just going to keep my chap shut, but I am not an IPMS member. As you know, I do this for the fun of the hobby, not for the competition. But walking around the competition area, it was so varied. You know, there was stuff that should have won and didn't. There was stuff that should have won and won. There was stuff that was overlooked, and it was very, very mixed bag. But then I think that's what it all is. It's very subjective. I'm not an IPMS judge. I don't judge models on their overall exact everything like that. I prefer to look at a model as in if it's telling a story. I prefer a very clean built model to something that's got all the aftermarket but it's a horrible paint job on it and all the rest of it. So it's very subjective, but from my point of view, I do this purely for the fun of the modelling. I certainly don't do it for competition and all the rest of it. So from my point of view, I'm probably not the best one to judge things. Let's just say it like that. So there we go. So that's about it for today. As I say, I'm going to crack on. Hopefully I'm going to have the Helix together tomorrow so we can see exactly how this thing's going to button up. I've had a quick test fit and it works fine. To be honest, I'm currently doing harnesses which are made out of a little bit of very, very thin tape. I painted it grey just to stick them on, just to give the seats a little bit more. We're going to have a final dry brush around that one, and then we can get the entire thing together, and then we can really start pushing on with this one, because there's lots of lumps and bumps and nodules and all the bits have to be added onto this one, not to mention the rotor head and some quite complex areas. So there's still plenty of build work to go on this one, and then hopefully if I get a little bit of time, it'll be probably Friday, I'm going to start the Terminator as well. So we'll get going with those. So there's still lots of great things to come up. Don't forget, we've got the Star Wars SIG, which is going to start on the 1st of December. I know loads of you spoke to me about this when we were at Telford. You're all as excited as me, because we're all just big kids here at the end of the day. As I said, it can be anything. A lot of people said, does it have to be in Star Wars markings? If you want to do what if, that's absolutely fine. As long as it is a Star Wars kit and it exists in the Star Wars universe, then that's absolutely fine. You know, we can't have any sort of, you know, it could exist in something. It has to have existed in the Star Wars universe to actually take part and everything else like that. So there we go. That's about it from me, everybody. Happy modelling. Take care.